adolescent brains are just different from adult brains. And so they've done studies, for example, where like your brain actually, you know, when they do like neurological studies, you're like the parts of your brain that are that light up when you're rejected, the adolescent brain is actually more sensitive to that than the adult brain. And so tiny things feel like huge things because your brains are literally just more sensitive to it. And so sometimes part of this is like kind of like zooming out, right? And taking a larger view and like thinking, for example, you know, do I really remember even like 2 years ago, you know, every single test I bombed, or, you know, every single thing that I've gotten rejected from, you know, in the last 10 years, right? Do you really remember all of that? And in 10 years, will you also remember that? That being said, I remember every college I've been rejected from. I will also say that it also worked out for me, right? Like it wasn't like I got rejected from this one school and then now I have no path in life. I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that even like Steve Jobs was dyslexic. And he went on to found Apple, which is, everybody knows who Apple is, or what Apple is, right? And so it's just, you know, to your point, it's not necessarily like if you take this one path, you're guaranteed to reach a certain end, right? There's a lot of different paths to reach that end. And even once you decide on what you want to do, there's a lot of things even within that field that you can do too. So even to take an example, like I'm a psychologist, and psychologists are trained in therapy, we're trained in evaluations, but I actually started a nonprofit because I was really invested in Asian American mental health and think that there isn't enough education and far too much stigma around it. And so I've kind of shifted gears a little bit, but I'm absolutely using all of the clinical and research experience that I've had in order to inform what I'm doing now, right? So who decides, like, just because you don't go to, okay, I got rejected from Stanford. So just because I didn't go to Stanford doesn't mean that I can't, you know, do what I wanted to do, like today, right? And I'm happy with where I've gone and come to today. And I think what I've heard just in terms of like a theme since we started talking is just like how insular like your paths can become, right? And so like getting to know a different group of people is like part of veering from your one path, right? And so you can, as you can imagine, right, if you're only focused on your one path, you don't see anything outside of that. But how great would it be to veer from that path and enrich your experiences because you take a detour in this way, right, and come back, or you take a detour and this leads you on a new path in this manner, right? And so I think, you know, part of that, it sounds like, is also just your own efforts and trying to expand, you know, what you do and who you associate with and who you talk to.